Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? What's up? Good morning and welcome back. Welcome back to another live session. All right. So, for those of you tuning in, yesterday we didn't go over the disclaimer because we were short on time. Today we'll make sure to mention that day trading is risky. Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. It's important to practice, improve, become efficient, consistent, and competent before increasing your risk in the market. Other than that, remember copy trading does not work here on the live stream. Remember also, in addition, as I'm getting a bunch of messages here, remember in addition to be aware of fake accounts, impersonating accounts. I will never message you first, nor will any of the lead members here in the community and or team house members. Be careful of fake accounts. Other than that, lastly, be careful of fake advertisements. People are also trying to steal the trading team house content to run ads. Sadly, if you do spot one, be sure to help us out in reporting it. Very long disclaimer there. But with that being said, let's take a look at what we have here today on the scanners. Let's come over here. All right. And guys, by the way, don't forget to check out the chat room if you're tuning in on YouTube. Chat room now open here for a limited time for those people who had mentioned in the past that they were not able to join due to lack of funds. Now, this isn't a permanent thing. We're just giving people a quick showcase of what the chat room is. That way you guys can decide if it's worth it or not. I want to be very clear about that. This is not going to be like, hey, you know, your grandfathered in, join the chat room forever, right? That would be completely unfair to everybody else who've been here for so long. So I just wanted to make sure to say that. But for now, you can check it out. Here's the link. Just a quick heads up right there. That's where the conversation will continue after the live stream. Man, I got to give myself some credit. I'm on here sounding very professional. I like it. All right, okay. Moving into the watch list. As we're checking out the day trading scan, Ross's top gappers. What do we have? Ticker symbol BENF leading the way up over, what is that? 67%. After our highs clocking in at 75.01. And so far today, our pre-market high is about 71.55. We had some traders in our chat room trading this one here in the pre-market, and it's been stair-stepping up earlier. As of recent, it's been pulling back a little bit, but holding up its levels, which is exactly what we like to see for a potential red to green and continued move into the open. Daily chart, BENF, how are we doing? That is my alarm for my screen recording. That way I can review trades if I need to. Let's just go ahead and do that. Good old reliable. Hit that thumbs up for Relentless Trader here. And they're calling me old reliable these days. I'm the last man standing. The last man standing. Like Bipes Cartel. For those of you who are familiar with that artist. Anyhow, getting back to it. BENF daily chart. Lots of topping wicks recently here. Being that we did break over most of those levels. If we're to continue looking at the chart, there is potential room here to $1. If it is to be strong over 75. And I'd say like 115. If you guys look back to November of last year where we had that massive candle, 114 to 236. I definitely could see short sellers shorting into that aggressive red candle. And so, you know, I'd say room to one, maybe 115. If it happens to break over 75 with strength. So room to the whole dollar. If it gets over 115, then, you know, maybe we can open up a little more, but definitely could be good up to that level. Coming down, CRE. Actually, EPOW, I didn't really look out here. Let me see. Massive move in after hours. And looks like today we've been selling off. Something to definitely save in the recents. Just in case. Okay, CRE. Gotta remember to have some good posture, man. I continue to have this bad habit of leaning on the desk. CRE up 52%, pre-market highs at 131. We've pulled back quite a bit. And if today is going to be similar to yesterday, we definitely need to be careful the first 5 minutes not to have any bigger losses. Yesterday we took like 3 losses up to 20 cents, even with small size. Can add up very quickly. And before you know it, you're starting the day on your heels. You're at the deficit. So CRE, as we have about, what's it, 3 minutes to go. Potential room to 210 on this one here. 210 for CRE. Okay, not bad. And I'll write up the watch list here as well. SKYQ, how are we doing? SKYQ. This one looks okay too. Cheaper stock. We did have some, as a 2-minute warning is going to go off here. We did have some momentum earlier, so this one looks like it could be worth it. Also for the red to green. Pre-market highs clocking in around 80 cents. We've pulled back, but we've held up our pullback at 60. Currently around 63. I think this will be the last one I put on the list. 200 EMA though in proximity at 90 cents. And we had a recent move up to 112. Those two levels I definitely want to keep an eye on. We haven't had a stock at like 10 cents, 5 cents in a long time, right? Last year we saw quite a few stocks go from about, let's say let's say more like 4 cents, 3 cents, all the way like 30 cents. Sometimes even up to 1. But this year, not so much of that. But at least we got something around 60 cents here. Maybe we do get a nice move. BENF, I'll be watching into the open. Let's not forget to take off the screen here. And then we'll be ready to go. Ready to go. SBRC from a few days ago too could be interesting. Let's get rid of what is so. Oh, let's see. Not looking to be in a rush here. Can we hold the VWAP BENF? Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you're tuning in on YouTube. UFG, not much there. How about SPRC from a few days ago? It's moving up a little bit. 580 to 630, good range. DPRO as well. SPRC now to 650. Let's see which one holds up here into minute number 3. 670 to halt for SPRC. It is below the VWAP, which is worth mentioning. DPRO, nice move up. If it doesn't hold to this area, I want to keep it tight and watch again. It's Christmas treeing. Let's see. The halt down's at 795 if it keeps tanking. SPRC also giving back most of the move as well. Switching over to SPRC. We're trading on an inside candle for now, but we'll see if it's able to hold up and get above the VWAP SPRC. I think, let's see, might reduce size for now and just be a little bit more patient. Unless this one can, get over 50 and hold up. CRE on a red to green. The halt up is at 30. Brother. Well, okay, that's fine. It's not tradable. CRE. SPRC, however, can we hold up over 50 and continue? VWAP is at 59. Um, just on the sidelines. On the sidelines. M10. What's the chart look like? Doesn't look like anything. So just waiting on the sidelines here until we see some sweet movements. What was that other one that came? DPRO. And it is curling up. DPRO is curling up a little bit. Red to green in effect. $9.18 was the previous high. Can we hold up the pullbacks? There's a massive seller on DPRO, 130,000 plus shares. As it's titanicking, free falling. Still not seeing anything really holding up super well. DPRO, we'll see if it holds the VWAP at least, but not the best looking chart. It might need time though, it might need another 5, 10, 15 minutes. CRE. Nothing looking fantastic. I'm keeping my eye on CRE though, because I could trade it. For those of you tuning in on YouTube, don't forget to check out the chat room. Chat room is open right now for a limited time. For those people who had mentioned they couldn't afford it, you guys can check it out. It's not going to be like this forever, of course. But you guys can check it out. That's where the conversation goes on before the live stream, during the live stream, and after the live stream. And we got 730 people here with 98 likes. Am I cooked or am I cooked on the likes? Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. CRE for now doesn't have the range I want to see. Like I'd want to see 25, 30, you know. It needs to be a little bit more volatile, like the one we had yesterday. MSS is being called out in scanners. MSS. Bit of a bottom bounce. Sidelines for me, sidelines. I think DPRO could have potential. I think it has potential, but it's early. You know, we need time for it to go sideways, and then if it's able to make a new high, maybe in the next 15 minutes or so, and we can get that uptrend to 10.50, 11, maybe $12. That's where this one can be pretty good. SPRC. Big push there on SPRC. We got to be careful of those massive sell-offs, though. The halt is at 87. Hopefully gets halted up. If it rips into the halt up here, maybe that can provide something. VWAP at 650. Can we hold above there and push into that halt up, which is now at 708? There's 77, some smaller sellers. Halt now 715. Right now, I'm very skeptical, and I'm only going to watch the extended flush outs like that if it comes down a little more, especially. Don't want to get caught trying to buy this high. Seems to be holding 30s for now, but massive pullback. Massive. Trying to take us out. CLIK looks interesting. It's pretty fresh, but there could be something there. Oh my god, bro. Oh, I'm gonna get punched in the mouth there. Okay, cool. 38. CLIK, cheaper stock, moving up a little bit. SPRC is trying again. Sometimes I'm forgetting to check this screen down here, but it might be like pretty out of frame. SPRC, what's it gonna be here? Just waiting patiently on the sidelines right now. SPRC is seeming like the more active stock in the moment. CLIK seems to be grindy for 44, or not really getting the breakout. At least not yet. We'll see. Maybe it does. Give a bigger push here. SPRC is holding up for now. So instant rejection of the whole dollar, which is not what we want to see there. However, it's holding up. CLIK is back up at 46, 45. I'm not liking anything here still, just trying to be patient. Wait. CLIK. CLIK at 48. IBG has halt level at 86. There it is. Hopefully locks in. Now 97 to halt up. The halt is at 504. Can we get halted up? Halt up at 512. There it is. Just a little delayed. 83, 80, 89, 17 is the halt up now. Well, okay. Got a pretty bad fill there, though. Can we continue to hold 70s, 60s? We've already been here a good 4 times. Oh, that's a good size lot. Oh, what was my entry? 92. Fair. That was a quick drop. It didn't really hold up at the pre-market highs there. A bit of a rejection at the pre-market highs. And right back down into the low of the range. You don't really like to see the rejection in that context of a strong bounce and a quick move through the whole dollar. Just a ton of selling at the highs and making new lows here in the pullback. Maybe we'll see a V-shaped red to green. It's possible. Tough fill there with the uptick. Tough fill. Watching. We could see a V-shaped red to green. It's possible. All right, I gotta throw out some more trades because there's two entries there. Getting filled in the high of the spreads there. Come on, not good. No bueno. It looks like we can get 5 again over time. New 5 minute candles, a minute 15 seconds out. And she is sinking. Can we hold the VWAP area? We had 50 for our lows last time all the way down. 5 minute candlestick definitely looking pretty grim here. Another rejection of 5. Backside? Looking like it. The halt down to 27 if it flushes. Pretty short-lived. And a very short uptrend. I don't really love to trade consolidations. I'd prefer an uptrend. Back to the sidelines. Back to the sidelines. CURA being mentioned. Still back on the sidelines here. Is the URA pushing up a little bit? Might be a higher float though. There's 39, there's 40. It's definitely gaining volume. We haven't had a red candle, but so far it's moving up. There's 50. Bro. I'll wait on the sidelines. I have to stop leaning on this table, man. My hand continues to fall asleep here. CLIK is sideways after that push. CLIK is down a bit. DPRO, not much there. Definitely a bit of a slower day, not seeing too much. BENF is at the VWAP, but it seems like there might be hidden sellers. There's over 60. Can it hold above 60? And it's back down. 50. 59.8. Definitely a slower day here. And we took a loss on CLIK for 370. Losing 4 cents almost on a 40-cent stock. In the flush. And UKK and others hitting the scans, lighter volume. GURA up and down. And back up again here. Everything is at the lows here. CRE, CLIK, DPRO, a small bounce, but would have a ways to go before it starts to look threatening for the highs again. IBG is curling up a little bit. So BENF, we're going to get over 60. It's Titanicing here. IBG selling off. Okay. Jesus. I was looking for a bit of a repeat of that last setup, but it looks like it's coming down this time. Well, I think that'll do it for me here. We'll keep it tight and not push it. I took a big loss on one stock, which is the bulk of the red day here today. On CLIK, $400 loss. Losing about 4 cents in one trade. DPRO. Maybe it could become something. Maybe. I don't know though. It's pretty like it's still like very much in the woods and below the pre-market highs. Pre-market highs are at 860, so I'd have a ways to go. I think I'm gonna go get breakfast and check back later. PRPO 860 with high volume 870, 880 area. Could be pretty good. H60 with high volume. Yeah, well, again, DRPO might be the only one that could do something at this point. DPRO. The last man standing. See why BT halted up with that lighter volume. Could be something, could be nothing. No, is there recent news? I don't see any news. Is it pump and dump or is it something more? Hard to say. Some of them they start like this, they continue a little higher. Others they sell right off. There's 2 minutes 50 seconds. The only thing it really has going for it is the percentage gain on the day, which is about 70%. People with halt scanners will see it, but will it gain more volume and continue higher is the question. For me, I wouldn't use more than 500 shares here. It's already been a slower day, so not looking to take on a lot of risk. If it turns out to open up, give another good move, maybe halt up again, or something like that, then maybe. But a minute 15 seconds. The Pro is still at 840s. 372, halt up, lighter volume. Let's see if it opens up, push, gains volume. 20 seconds for ZYBT. It's going to resume lower. And it's not tradable. Great. I would have made 30 cents there. We haven't pulled back yet. The halt up is now at 82. Hard to gauge if it wants to hold higher. Taking a starter 75 area. And my average is 75 here. Lows were around 60. Got 700 shares, tight stop. Watching for the pull back to curl back to 4. Will it continue or do we need to dip again? Watching. Highs of the candle were 21. I'm trading it on the other account, but this thing. Okay, there we go. Watching to see if it wants to try for the highs. Come on. Watching 50. Can we hold for 50? Not quite. False breakout. 77 is the halt up. $4 starter not holding up. Does it have one more pullback in it to hold up the pullback and then try again? It didn't take any size there. Adding for break of 4 could work, but it needs to be immediate. And that dip held up really well though, holy smokes. Here's a seller 91. Sellers bought up. Another seller 97. Now 94, walking down. I think it's still worth watching in case it's able to hold over 4 again, but if not, maybe it sells off. The new 5-minute candle is still 2 minutes, 10 seconds. And there's sellers here at the VWAP this time. Looks like it could be finished. Well, I'll take the 200 bucks there. We had a good trade from 370 to 405, 410 area. I think we sold some at 95 as well. Well, at least that's going to bring the losses down a little bit here. Not by a ton, but something. Maybe time to call it. Well, DPRO actually. If it gets back over 4, it could be interesting. DPRO is back at 880. Yeah, this one is bluffing here. Got up to 95 and back down. But how's the volume on DPRO? I don't know, man. The patience that's needed to wait for this one. I don't think I, I don't think I have it right now. And this other one is back at to 90 again. I'm only interested really in over 4 with high volume. If it's to pull off a surprising red to green here. If not, no trade. Yeah, it's not ready. It is Titanicking. This was the trade right here. At 71, 78. Small size, nothing crazy. 90 exit. 09, 14, 8. I'm going to shut it down, I think. This D Pro is definitely interesting. It could end up giving the red to green all the way. If it would spike up into a halt now, it would be great. 80, 80 rejected last time. Maybe I give it 5 minutes. I'll give it 5 minutes here to see. Oh shoot, I'm not even paying attention. Oh my goodness. All right, okay. 918 was the highs. Bro, it should be flying through high of day, like We should be seeing 20, 25, 30, 35. Instead, it's 905, 908, back down. The break and hold of the whole dollar in the depths. In the bottoms of the 7 seas. If it's going to move like this, I'm not going to be able to trade it. It's like not volatile enough. Not volatile enough. Yeah, okay, I think that's going to do it. So for those of you going the distance, maybe keep an eye on this one in case it does open up some more. For the longer hold, I know a lot of you guys with the longer hold are watching at it, but it's not volatile enough for my liking. And I'm tired of sitting here, honestly. Not tired of trading, but my legs are killing me. I got to get up and move around and then come back after at least a couple minutes. So I think it's a good time to step away and then come back later to see if anything else is moving. So ending down, what's the math here? 470, 430, red 430 today. No good, no good. Shutting it down. The other stock, IBG, I think was the best one that came, but it was pretty short-lived. And after the consolidation holds up a few times, it just I just can't take these trades. I don't know why. Like mentally, there's something that just stops me from taking these trades after it holds up 2 to 3 times. Because in my mind, it's like this thing's just gonna sell off. It needs to go, or else it's gonna sell off. And what did get me a little excited was that we made a new high by a little bit, but came right back down in the range for a new low, and then didn't really, give that follow through for new highs. So plus 400 to flat on this one. One good trade, really. But I will say, if you're very fierce in the consolidation and you don't mind just, taking that level every time, this area here alone could have, you could have made it a couple $1,000s, really, depending on the size, or at least plus 1K. But, even like 2,500, 3K shares every time it comes down to like 65, 66. You're in, it gets up to 75 or 80. I mean, we saw it, it did it like 10 times in there. But are you willing to take it every time, very quickly? And that's like the key for those areas. It's curling back up a little bit, but this still would have a ways to go. Needs to get through 470 and, hold up above the VWAP, hopefully. DPRO. Also slow and steady. Yeah, I can post a monthly recap. That's not a problem. The only issue that I still have is that, well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter. I already know how much I'm down on my other account, so it's just that we're not going to be able to see it visually. But I guess I can talk about, talk about the levels. Yeah, but and my voice keeps cracking because this year-round cold that I have doesn't really go away. But yeah. So in summary, IBG I think was the best one. The better area around 959, and then the consolidation. Other than that, pretty slow. We took a good sized loss on CLIK, one trade. We took two trades. Our very first trade, I think right here. I think it was here. No. It was over here at 48. We're long at 41. And it teleports down on us. We lost almost 4 cents coming out of the bottom of this pullback. These stocks like this are just way better for longer holds. If you're holding for 2-3 minutes average, it's just much better to trade. Smoother experience. For the quicker trades, at times the volatility comes in, but then the volatility is like gone, and then it becomes like a grinding stock again. But yeah, so between the two accounts, we're at 430, shutting it down. And in fact, what I could do, I could show you guys my trade review for this month, being that I took a lot of trades on Thinkorswim. I think it's a small green month, couple thousand. Our volume is extremely low right now. I took size yesterday though. Yesterday was a day where I took size, although we didn't really get to connect how we would have wanted to on that particular stock. We had some good size positions, some trades. We didn't get the full follow through in the push, coming out for about 6 cents, 12,000 shares. And then, we get the additional push after another couple seconds, maybe about another 6, 8 cents, 10 cents. And we got chopped out a few times. So Guardian, my account was 31,800. I only say the balance because from my understanding, there's no security issues there with me saying that. With Thinkorswim, if you say your exact balance, it's like a question they ask you when you're logging in, when you call in through the website. So let's see. Okay, export to file. Save. Documents. Trader view, import trades. Documents. Most recent upload. Import trades. And then we give it a couple seconds here to load up. Ay. My back is in the slums. My back is in the slums. So this is when I had last imported on Thinkorswim. Let's see. Let's see here. Month, calendar. June, July. So here's where I don't have the data. July and August, which I was down 3K, and I think 3K, if I have to just guess, I don't know exactly. All I know is the account was at 31.8. It's at 25.5. That's 6,000, close to 6,000. Most of those losses were in pre-market. Pre-market and some during the open. But this is this month right here. Small size for the most part. Couple of red days. This was the worst day here, where this was by far the worst day, where we had freaking $1,800 to start at by 9:20, I think. We're up 1800 in the other account. And then we lost like 2500 in three trades. Brutal. Massive size. This was a terrible loss, really. And then into the open, it was a pretty like volatile day, right? Into the open, we were pretty stubborn, kept going. I think we were down like 1K, and then we had a 1K loss at one point. It was just pretty brutal. So you'll see, like the losses that came were like massive losses here. So we're like struggling to be flat, and then we kind of stair step down to 1K after taking a couple losses. Okay, cool. We build our way back up, and then boom. Right here, this loss is a 1K loss in one trade. And then again, 1K loss in one trade twice. Brutal, absolutely brutal. So 2K in these two trades after fighting back to get a little closer to break even. So it was a bit of a tough day. I think after this one is where we should have said, hey, you know what? It's just not the day. 1400 for this type of size we're trading is like way too much to be down. This day here, the other day, where we're up 3K on the month. Wow, this cold is like killing me. The other day where we're up 3K on the month. This is a really hot day actually, because with the size that we're trading on this day, it was pretty good to be up this amount with the size that we traded, There must have been a bigger winner right here. 1,500 shares. This is a 1,500 share position here, 3,000 shares total. So it's a massive trade for 2,200. We finished the day up 3,000. Not a bad one, but small size. I mean, we can go through every calendar just for some transparency here. Honestly, the only reason I'm not posting videos is because I've been somewhat lazy. Like I spoke about this for a while ago though. Like when it comes down to the recaps, since I don't know, it depends on if you're here every day, like going back like even into last year. I had a video where I spoke about, and it might have been like a recap. Since like last November or December, I'm gonna stop doing recaps into the new year and just do other content, because recaps don't really grow the channel in any way. I mean, it's good to do like a review for the people, but at some point it's like I'll show you guys the type of content that I'm supposed to be making every single day, right? This is the type of content that I should be making every single day. Hold up, let me pull it up. Your channel, to be very transparent to the audience here. And I gotta go into the settings and get my live streams to populate. They're not populating at all. They're like not being added to the playlist, which I have to see if I can get figured out in the back end. Where is this video? This one right here. This is the kind of video I'm supposed to be making. Like these type of videos, like this one here especially, right? This video right here is the video that I should be making. Like more general trading videos, talking about trading, talking about relevant topics like this, with accounts being banned. Like I spoke about the people in our chat room. Some people got their accounts banned for just trading, every day, normal stuff. And then we talk about trading with Guardian. But if I'm not making content like this, it's like, somewhat not good. Whenever we do vlogs and team house stuff, that's always nice. But, recaps, I've been a little slower in recaps. I don't know. Here's what it is, right? It's also why when people DM me, it takes longer for me to respond. It's this thing of just doing it for so long, for so many years. That's like, you start to just get like tired almost. Like I've responded to well over 10,000 DMs. It's to the point right now where I haven't even looked at DMs on some other platforms for like a whole month. Like it's insane. Because there's like people every day messaging. So, you know, maybe some AI is definitely what I can use because there's at this rate, there's no need to hire assistants. You can just use AI to, you know, you can use AI to help respond to some of the more common questions. As for the live streams, it says 2 weeks ago, but if you're to like click on the live stream area here, every live stream is still there. It's just that it needs to be fixed for the playlist on the main page. So you can still go back to every live stream. The live stream, I don't think I will ever stop ever because any day that I trade, it just makes sense to just live stream, you know? Whether I trade pre-market, what I haven't been doing is streaming pre-market. If I do, the live stream will be like 4 hours long, which is a little, you know, a little lengthy. Days like today, it'll be more around like 2 hours, maybe at 1 hour, 50 minutes, something like that. 2 hours. El Pastor. So slow month here. It's been slow. I've been trading very slow and low size, less trades. You know, just take a look at the calendar here, right? My number of trades have been down significantly compared to earlier this year and last year. You know, also being a little scared to not get banned, stuff like that. There's a lot of factors, right? Ah, man. Did the banning stuff also affect us? Yes. The answer's undoubtedly yes, right? We've been a little timid ever since like the bans. Earlier in the year, we've had a couple of different things happen in terms of like the algos and how the strategy was affected in terms of hyper scalping and being super aggressive, seeing less opportunities, things being a little different. Definitely been a tougher year for sure. Today, though, a little disappointed that I took the $400 loss. If not, we could have stood a better chance. We also gave back $400 on one of the other stocks. Couldn't really connect on IBG, and then we gave back a little bit of the gains that we had. In comparison, if we look at like just total trades, you know, we could look at a month like January. We can look at January and then December of last year in terms of just trades, volume. Is it frozen? You know, it's typically around, you know, 150, 200 trades most of the times, unless it's just like a slower day, then we'll get like less trades. But most of the times we should see you know, like 140, 190 here, 160, 120. Let's see, November, December to end the year. So trading like 50 trades for me is definitely like on the lower side. You know, right here. And I'm pretty sure a day like this, we just took massive losses. So yeah. More than likely, this is like one trade. Another good size loss in here. And then another good size. So from 21, and another $600 loss here. Typically on the days where I'm like bigger red, it's like just massive losses. I'll usually take like 6 trades, 10 trades, 15 trades. And on like 5 of those trades, I just got murdered. Right? So July, this is where we traded some Thinkorswim, and then we were like, hey, we're done using this platform because they're banning accounts, and you know, I don't want to use a platform where accounts are being banned. And then I ended up going back on the freaking thing. So could I have just traded here still? But I don't know, like, you know, having the team house guys and the chat room members, and you have these conversations behind the scene. It was like, you know, pitchforks and knives. Like, don't touch your account or it's gonna get banned. Like, you know, all this stuff came up, right? Like, I don't know, but some people's account got banned and then some people's account didn't, right? For people who were And by the way, these are Guardian trades that on these days, I remember to import. But all along, I thought I could just import, at the end of the month. And I haven't been able to figure out how I could import. But yeah, it's been, quite the slower year here for us. I think definitely something that's affected me too is like just the mental of it all, right? Like trading is very mental, as we know. Where you are in your trading, how well you're trading, how aggressive you can be versus, being in a struggle and not being able to be at the edge of your comfort zone because you're not connecting as well as you would like. Pre-market for me right now, it's like I'll be green $100 or flat or slightly red. Ever since the up 2K to like red day on pre-market, I've been taking it much easier. And part of that is because we're just not seeing the same massive moves. Like we were seeing stocks go from 8 to 16 to 20 to 30. Now we're seeing a stock go from like maybe 190 to like $3. By the time you're pulling it up, it's already given half the move, right? So you're not really able to see the entire thing play out, and you're kind of missing a lot of the action because by the time the stock hits the scans, like half of the stock is already gone, right? In those earlier moves. So to get my exact P&L, we got a minus 6,000 here. If we go to the equity curve, I haven't really lost any money. We just haven't been making money as consistently as we would like. So in this P&L curve right here, we got a minus 6,000. Or even if you want to say 7,000. Let me do the math. Let me do the exact math. 31,800. How much did I fund the account with? 32. I had like a freak loss when I very, very first funded the account where I didn't even trade in it. My hotkeys weren't set up properly, and I think I lost like 1,200 or something from 32,000 minus 1,200. So was it 30? I think it was, I want to say 31,800, man. Let's just go with 31,800. And I'm saying that number kind of weird. 31,800, right? 31,800 less 25,339. And then today's gains of just 140. So let's just say 6,400, right? Plus or minus. We'll have to take away from this P&L curve right here. We haven't really lost money. We haven't made any money. That's the issue, right? We haven't made a dime. If we're to zoom in on year to date and then filter for year to date, it's been quite the amateur year here. Rookie numbers. This reminds me of like year one of my career as a trader. When I was a humble, small size trader. In terms of mental, I still think for me there's a lot of adjusting to keep doing. Right now, I think I could use size on any stock at any point because I've done it before. But it's a matter of being able to be consistent and connecting on those stocks regularly, having that confidence. It's like until I'm seeing great consistency again, there's no way I'm going to size up in like, certain moves. It needs to be, good trading, connecting on the momentum, capitalizing well, and then at that point you can throw any amount of size, right? So definitely in terms of edge and strategy, I'd say there's been some things that have changed, and through studying, I'm noticing more and more what have been working. Like for example, today, we just didn't really see a good uptrend. We didn't really see a stock like IPG open up to give that follow through. So I think most people will probably have like a smaller day today, unless they're really holding much longer, right? If you're really holding longer, and you're doing a great job identifying dips, I think that's where you can see a better day today. But for me, on days like this, even, and I would say overall over the last couple of months, it's been a little bit more difficult to determine dips, right? So let's go to net actually here. It's been a little bit more difficult to determine dips on for me in a lot of the pullback areas. There's a lot of trades where I'm in where I think the trade looks pretty good, and then the stock continues to Titanic another what 10%, or if we want to put it into cents, like another 40 cents, especially on the stocks that are a little bit more higher in price or in range. And so a lot of those sweet pullback trades have been pretty difficult to capture and to capture well. So for this year, it's been rookie numbers. Quite the tough year here. Quite the tough year. Quite the drawdown that we've had, and the slums that we've been in here. I don't ever have an issue showing anything. It's just that I haven't been making videos. Making videos and not showing anything like this is a different story, right? I can come here on any day and any time and show anything because my personality is very suited to be on camera. El Pastor understands. We've had our glory. We'll also show some of the slower trading as well. Our biggest red day this year, 4,891. Or our biggest red stock. I don't know if the day was bigger than that. Maybe this is definitely earlier in the year. We've had INM, JTI. Definitely some bigger losses here for sure. On the green side of things, we've had a massive day. This is our second biggest day sometime in February. And then the numbers kind of trickle down from there. January of this year was like a really good month. For me, I wasn't able to connect. A lot of this month for me had to do with like timing. And I think, again, whole time in these things like this will make a massive difference. Like, for people who are holding a little longer, you know, you can have a massive difference in the results. I remember so many of these days could have been like much more massive days if I'm to be holding 3 more seconds in the trade. You know, getting some of the dip spot on and taking 30 cents and the dip goes up $1.30 more. And it's like, oh man, I needed to be not much longer. So of course with size as well, like, you know, the numbers will always be bigger for every trader, depending on the share size that you're putting out. This was a day that I took. This day was a brutal day. It was a good day, but a brutal day. I took off this day. This was actually I think this was a team house week right here. This week was a team house week. I took off this day here. And man, it was a hot day. It was a hot day. This was the day that I was watching at Save. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take off the day just to kind of, you know, see what this guy is doing. And man, the guy, I saw and watched this guy make 60,000 that day. Definitely, it is definitely doable. And also it gave me the confidence to size up on that day that I did do pretty well. But, you know, again, it really comes down, man, to seeing those moves and the price action, right? It's been a little different in terms of what drives the moves these days. And, you know, still working on getting a better gauge on that. This was the Friday of the team house. This was a day where I recorded a video. How did everyone do today? Actually, I remember this pretty vividly because 3 of the guys were up 15,000. Drew, 15K. Calamity, right? Calamity, 15K. Save, 15K. Crispy, 15K. And Tim on this day was up 21,000, I think. This was an insane day, man. Insane day for the team. Actually, Tim might have kept. I think Tim might have kept trading that day. I think this is the day that I met up with Big Steve. Tim kept trading this day, if I'm not mistaken, and Tim got up to 50,000. I think when I came back in, I ended up leaving out. I met up with Big Steve. We had a good lunch. Shout out to Big Steve, man. I think Big Steve. In fact, my memory's so good on this day. I think that Big Steve was up 13,000 too. So it was a great day for the chat room. A great day for the team. Yeah, but January was a bit of a crazier month. February of this year, I can't remember much of. I think this for me is where I started struggling a little bit. Like, I think this is where I started struggling a little bit. Wasn't seeing much consistency. It was a bit of a slower month, really, up until we had this bigger day here. If we take out this day, this month is what, 6,000 there. And then, what was that, 12, 14,000, then less another like 3,000. It's like 11,000, $10,000 a month. So it was already not a great month. And then March ended up being our first red month in like 3 years. March 2025. So for me, like some people, were telling me like, hey, like the way how you're trading has been different after the team house on this, like, we had a team house this week as well, one of these weeks here. But what I have noticed is that, things were already changing, like, because January, okay, January a little decent. Last year to end the year, we had more penny stocks than anything else, right? And so it's been like 4 to 5 months of really seeing, really steady momentum. I'd say January pretty good of the new year, and it's like, man, like adapting to longer holds might be the better way to start doing things. And it doesn't have to mean, fully switching up or so, but at least attempting to hold longer in some areas. And this week I kind of tried the thing. Also, I could have used some smaller size, but ultimately it wasn't too bad, right? Still fairly small on the week there, but yeah, we were trying to hold longer, and then April came around. I think April, another slower month for us. We just weren't seeing a ton of action, despite putting out a lot of trades on most days. 2 good days here. A good size red day here on the 21st. A lot of these red days are just bigger losses. So right here, we're pretty much flat. And then in one trade, we go from down 200 to down 1,400. So this is a one trade loss here pretty much. We're at minus 1K. Every red day for me that's bigger is this type of thing. Like I kind of look for a good trade and then I get blazed massively. 1K to then down 1,900. So a $900 loss. And then, pretty much a bigger drop here as well. Small recovery, massive loss again. So we have data missing from like using Guardian. I still think Guardian is better in some ways. But Thinkorswim is still, it's still a tool that I have, so you might as well also use it, right? And also we can import trades too, much easier than figuring out the back end of Guardian. I think that was all the months. So we got small green April, and then small red May. Let's click on May. Oh no, good size red May. Let's see, where's the bigger red days? 4,000 here, 2,000 here, 2,000 here. These 3 days contributing for pretty much most of the month. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8,000 loss in 3 days. Notice here how I'm taking a good amount of trades too. right? On some of these days, not really seeing a great result. Better day here. More than likely, again, same theme of bigger losses over a couple trades. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 red days on the month. And the green days smaller in comparison here. June, smaller green month. And then that took us to July, August. So let's say down 3K, down 3K. And then I think that was about it based off the Guardian numbers. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it might have been more of a loss in August because I think this might have been a flat month. I lost a little bit. I remember that I made a good amount and then I lost and trend down in August. September, here's September, including today. So not the best year, not the best performance. Still treading water, going sideways, and working on being better and better in identifying where the breakouts are happening. Dips have been very hit or miss. You know, today, for example, on BIG or whatever the ticker symbol was, we had 460 to 485 bounce like 10 times. On other days, we might see the bounce once and then the stock is like, you know, teleporting down, right? So for me, typically, I love to see the new range whenever if I'm to like draw it up here, whenever we consolidate, you know, usually a consolidation is coming after a small move. Whenever we start to consolidate in an area, typically, you know, looking for support to hold. Let's just say this is $5. Once we hold 4 times, 5 times, 8 times, we've held this low 10 times already, like, you know, BIG or BTI, whatever the symbol was. Break of that whole dollar, I guess we should put this at 4. We can put it as 460. Let's turn this into a bit of a 6 here. 460. We got up to 510 or 514, I think it was for the highs. It pushed through nicely after consolidating. This probably will be a little higher, but let's just say 514 is up here. We had, let's put 480 here. Once we break out of this level, you know, I'm expecting to see like a new consolidation. Instead, we were like right back down in the range again. And it was in great fashion too. We, you know, from these lows, we straight up. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a slower year. Do I think I can make millions still in the future? Of course. If not, I wouldn't have been here. I think being patient is key. You know, staying afloat, not blowing up an account and like just trending down too much, I think is the key. If not, you know, like burn too much capital too quickly. And then before you know it, even though you might have sweet gains, you're like back into the depths, right? So keeping my head afloat and just taking it slow, taking it easy. October, November, December, as rates continue to go lower, we'll see if we get more and more opportunities. We've had an insane pre-market, I think, in July. July, and you know, even in the new platform Guardian, you know, in those days, we're much more, you know, infant in terms of like what we know, hotkeys, determining what is best for us to trade. So we should be much more prepared for the next hotter cycle, but until then, You know, just treading water, not trading anything below $1 as well. In pre-market for me, you know, sweet spot like 120 and up, and then when stocks get to $10 or so, if the range is too wide, making sure to reduce size is always key. If not, you can get caught up in some bigger flushes. But yeah, this is pretty much the year to this point here. Win-loss versus days. This has not been great for this year. You know, we've had a ton of losing days. Typically, we're green 7 out of every 10 days. Historically, up until, you know, earlier into this year. So we've definitely had our issues. Honestly, I'm not even sure how my average daily gain is anything close to this, because we've been trading for so small for so long. I'd expect these numbers to like be very, very small. Coming down. Largest loss, largest gain. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it here for the detailed section. The stats, where we are this year, and everything else. I can also show an equity curve, but just this year too. So quite the brutal year here for El Pastor in the slums. Quite the brutal year. For those of you in the chat room and the live stream, this is going to be the end of the video. I'll be back tomorrow. Nothing really hitting the scans that I can see. That looks good. So looking to shut it down. This is the slowest it's ever been for me. I think in like a long, long time, since like between September 2020 to February, March 2021. It's the last time I've had like a slower period like this. Absolutely brutal, but small gains nevertheless. And you know, we'll keep working until, like, the only way I would stop trading is if I'm not able to keep working every day, keep showing up, keep trading, keep doing review sessions and study sessions. We have a lot of good news and good things to look forward to. And you know, we just have to continue keeping on. Another beautiful day in the markets. As we know, day trading is not easy. It's never going to be easy. In fact, we can bank on it continuing to be difficult. So we have to continue to be, you know, persistent. We have to continue to be relentless in our pursuit towards greatness. Because as we know, there is nowhere to run. There is nowhere to hide. There's only showing up and trying to be a better version of yourself each and every day. That's what it takes to be great. And so we sign ourselves up to be on the road towards greatness another day. For those of you who don't know, I see myself trading here until I'm 96 years old. Very ambitious goal. And so we're still very early in our journey. We're going to continue looking forward to making adjustments and improvements and being better. So in the days to come, in the months to come, we're going to look forward to being more consistent and a better trader. So there's the full rundown on where we are on the month, the year, the last couple of weeks. What I can do is clip this part of the video and post it as a separate video for people who might want to like rewatch later maybe. And I think that'll do it. How many people will be here in the next 5, 10, 15 years? I don't know. We've seen a lot of people come and go over the years. Um, there are some people like I don't know. I find it a little hard to believe. Like there's been people in the chat room who are making like 20K a month every month, 30K a month, and then it's like the next day you just never saw these people again for like 2 years now or a year. I mean, I don't know. Like it's hard to think that they blew up an account like their entire because people don't, nobody keeps their money in their if you're keeping all your money in your account, like it just doesn't make any sense, right? Like there's no way I can see people keeping all their money in their account at all times. Like why? It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. So even if let's just assume this person might have had 100K in their account. Okay, you lost 50K in a big bad day or something. It's like it's just hard to believe that like you're just done, you know? So I think a lot of people are just trading to themselves. I mean, maybe a few people might have left trading. I think the ones who are never really profitable might have definitely left for sure, because at the end of the day, there's an opportunity cost. If you the time that you're spending doing one thing is time that you're not spending doing something else. So some people who are like break even or small green, small red for years, they might eventually say, you know what, okay, I'm gonna like try something different, a different business or different venture or something like that. Which is, I guess it's understandable, right? Especially if you have family and you don't have unlimited time. If you have responsibilities, bills, mortgages, rent, and what's the other big one? Kids, right? For me, I mean, I have a lot of bills myself, but I think, the kids one is the biggest one, and I've been very careful to not, I'm a single man. I'm not a married person, so I'm definitely not looking forward to having any children right now. Later, yeah, not today, not anytime soon. So, whilst my bills are somewhat high, they're not like high, When you got to take care of the kids, man, that's a different type of bills you're going to be paying there, like, you know. So for me right now, I'm just like keeping my head down, keeping it slow, and keeping it cool. I've done some study sessions with Big Steve. I've done a lot of study sessions on my own. And, a lot of things that I notice, is that the biggest thing that I've noticed, between this year for myself and last year, one, the algos and how stocks move have been very different. I don't know. It's like when I think back about Thinkorswim, right? And what they did over the years and months leading up to the bans, we've had like some signals, right? Out of the blue, we had the 390 rule. This is me being very open here, right? Very honest, very transparent. We had the 390 rule. Boom. Out of the blue, it's like, hey, like you can't trade over a certain amount of trades in a day, even if your account is above PDT, XYZ. And then randomly, almost, and this still happens today, there are certain stocks that we cannot trade. We've had days where stocks were just going, and we're like on the sidelines because we just can't trade these tickers, right? And so on top of that, what else? There was like one other thing that they also did, right? I guess, the pressure was already on them since back in these days. And so, to me, also the algorithm also changed up a little bit in terms of how stocks would move, certain setups, certain opportunities. Things started to look a little different. And so there's like a little bit of a shift. And so, as you guys know, trading is very delicate, right? If it's almost like a flower. If you hold it too fast or you pick it up too quickly, you can start losing some of the petals, right? The rose petals. And so for me, that's like the best way I can explain how things are this year. And so since then, it's just been a lot of adjusting. And I've kind of noticed this for like a long time. Again, like towards the end of last year, we saw more penny stocks, and then January we had more regular stocks again. But I felt that things were a little slower. Sometimes your twist on the hyper scalping strategy could still make a lot of sense depending on what you're doing, because while the strategy is a strategy, a lot of people will still trade the strategy a little differently depending on what they already know and or just personal tendencies. And so, you might have one person, let's say we're all looking at the break of 5, right? You could have one person in at 490, someone else in at 99, someone else in at 501 or 505, and let's say target at 515, 520, right? There can be so many different entries, and also like in terms of like variables for how you treat the trade, hold time is part of that. One person might be in at 99, out at 510, 515, saying, hey, you know what, I'll take that 10 cents. Someone else might be in at 505 and saying, hey, this thing is still strong, I'm going to look for 550 on the continued breakout, right? Like there's no right or wrong way in terms of like how people will approach the strategy. Some people are coming from different courses, different trading from what they know on their own. And so they'll, add to the strategy sometimes, which is also a thing, right? So there's a lot of, variance to hyper scalping, right? And you've seen other people in the community, other YouTubers. I like to think that I'm the first person because I started the YouTube channel and was like the first person streaming it. Like you guys got to remember back in these days, like back in 2019, the internet was still this thing that like, it's not like how it is today, like where there's so many YouTube channels and, back then there was Clay Trader, Beginner Trading, Ross Cameron, Tim Sykes, myself, and maybe Humble Trader. There's like, other than that, like it was like a bunch of random people, like random people who I don't even know if you would know them today, kind of thing. There was like nobody else doing YouTube, like nobody else. Like it's unheard of to be doing YouTube at all at that time, much less to be doing YouTube and trading, right? It's changed so much. Like even, in like generally speaking about YouTube, back in those days, people will post a vlog of their lifestyle, Nowadays, like it's all about streaming and you have these guys like, I mean, you guys might not know their names, but like the Jake Pauls of the world, right? Like these guys are live streamers and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. They don't upload YouTube videos like they used to in the past. It's changed, right? From back in those type of times. So being that I was like the first person to start trading, a ton of trades with the 0 commissions, I'd like to say that I kind of started this hyper scalping thing, Were people doing it before? Yeah, maybe, but they weren't doing it publicly to where the world could see. So by that logic, I created it publicly, right? So, there's been a bunch of variants and people doing their own thing, which is always fine. So this is what it's been over the years, right? It's been a slow year, financially. Like I don't have any worries financially. Like that's I've done very well to where I can take it easy. Trading has never been my only source of income. I've always have even now I always have other sources of income too, right? There's some new ventures. I'm not going to talk about that stuff here, but there are new ventures that I'm considering right now that I am, already have the groundwork laid out for. It's a matter of pulling the trigger. It's the last step, really. There's a lot of opportunities, especially when you have cash. I have a ton of swing trading accounts, too many to keep track of, really. Got to condense some of them, but I have like a ton of swing trading accounts that are like ready. I'm holding positions right now in certain companies. You know, UNH, one of those beautiful companies that's doing very well swing trading wise. I've done well in swing trading this year. I don't typically talk about this stuff because I'm not doing it like very publicly. It's like just my own things that I'm doing. But right now, the biggest thing is continuing to work on being a better trader. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. For those of you who are going the distance, for those of you who are going the distance, this Jordy Mills, man, Jordy Mills. Jordy Mills. Are you in the chat room by chance? Mbala, what's up? I'm checking out the YouTube chat here. Flip flop, what's going on? Yeah, it's time to shut it down. I'm gonna go eat something, man. It's 12 p.m. I haven't 12 p.m. here, market time. Time for some brunch. Time for some brunch. Man. But I will say, before I shut it down, I will say this year, I came into this year thinking I was gonna make well over $1 million. Because from what we saw last year, it's like I already knew what I needed to do, you know, and I was ready to put out the size. Like I would have been looking at trades with 30,000 shares regularly, but that is still there and available once we get back to more consistency, right? The moment the day that I the day the very second the second the second that I get back to more consistency, my share size will be insanity. My share size will be absurd. The very day that I finally am where I need to be in terms of being exactly on track, right? This is where we need to be. This is the path. You can't be zigging and zagging through the path. You got to stay in that Goldilocks zone all the time, every time. And then my $1 million year, and then my potential, because once I get to that level of massive size, and then I see what I can do, then potentially 8-figure years is in the pipelines. We have time. We're going to be here till we're 96 years old with arthritis in our fingertips. So you just got to keep our heads down and keep pushing, keep studying, keep working. Okay, take care, stay safe, stay green. I'm out of here. I got to go get something to eat. Pastor signing out. Talk like a robot. Maybe I do.